Today I'm going to show you how to make a Mexican-style meatball soup that I grew up having called Caldo De Albondigas. It's hearty and perfect to stay warm in the cold weather. For the fresh vegetables in this soup, I'm going to be using fingerling potatoes. You can use russet, and I'm actually going to peel these because as you can see, they're kind of green. So if they weren't, I would leave the skin on. I also have fresh carrot going in, squash or zucchini works, fresh cabbage. Here I have just a handful of trimmed green beans, and I'm going to chop up some fresh corn, and this is all going to go into the soup. Okay, so here I've boiled and now I have the heat off, and I'm just going to, I'm going to let this steep. These are 2 guajillo chiles that are going to be pureed and put into the soup, but just let it hang out. So here I'm working with a pound of 85 meat to 15% fat ratio ground beef. To that, I'm going to just season it here with a teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder, garlic powder, I'd say like half teaspoon of ground cumin. By the way, season this how you like. And a half teaspoon of onion powder. I'm going to break that apart and give it a mix. And these you can add a lot of fresh ingredients like fresh garlic, fresh onion, fresh parsley, or even like cilantro if you want that. I do that sometimes, but I'm keeping it simple today. Now, half cup of rinsed uncooked rice. And give it a mix. Okay, so I have it mixed. Now I'm going to make little meatballs. And you can be really precise with this and maybe use like a cookie scooper, but just like that. Now you have a meatball, like that. And just repeat the process. Like I said, if you want to be exact, you could do 16 1-ounce meatballs. I'm just gonna do that. Here in a 6-quart pot, I'm going to add water. That's 4 cups. And then here's another 4. Okay. So in all, I'm working with 10 cups of water. Here I have aromatics of onion, just 1 celery stick that I chopped, half of a small onion, and a bay leaf going in. We're going to turn that up. So let's make this puree. I have 2 fresh Roma tomatoes going in. You could chop those up. I'm going to just throw those in. And then the 2 guajillo chili peppers go right in. Some of that soaking liquid, maybe like, start with a half cup. I've got 2 cloves of garlic going in. And I like chipotle chili peppers in adobo sauce, so I'm going in with 1 tablespoon. These are chopped. I'm also going to be adding 1 heaping tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder right into the blender cup. And now you're just going to puree really well. Okay, so here's the part where you can add the vegetables like at different times. So at this point, I'm going to add the carrot first because that takes the longest to cook. So just add it right into your pot with the other aromatics. But what I like to do is like a 1-pot situation. Yeah, well, some things get mushier than others. That's okay. I'm going to add everything into the pot. Potatoes. I'm going to bring that up to a boil and let it go for about 10 minutes. Okay. So the soup is boiling. I'm gonna let it go for 10 minutes, but I wanna mention a couple of things. If you do not like chilies or tomato, leave it out. You can adjust things to your preference, whether that's salt and seasoning, and even the ratios of vegetables or the types of veggies that you want to use. This is such a versatile soup. I make it all year round, but when the weather is cold, it's perfect. Okay, so this is boiling. It's been cooking for about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to add the puree right into the pot and just give this a mix. And remember what I said, if you want more cabbage in this, go for it. If you want more zucchini or potato, I mean, those are all adjustable things. This soup is starting to smell amazing. You probably could give it a taste for salt and seasoning at this point, but I'm going to wait until I add the meatballs and let those cook first. Okay, now it's time to add the meatballs. You want to make sure the broth is boiling when you add these. So you don't want to add these when it's not boiling like this. You want to make sure that it cooks properly. And just add them one by one. Last one going in. There we go. Okay, so I want to make sure these cook and get submerged. And you want to make sure it stays at a rolling boil. And these are going to take like, I don't know, another 15 minutes of boil time, simmer time. There we go. Okay, so it's boiling away. I'm going to let that go for another 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm going to taste for salt and seasoning and then adjust if it needs to. Also, no side required with this soup. It is such a hearty one pot, one bowl soup, but if you want sides or garnishes, I like to add fresh avocado, sometimes cilantro on top, or you can add cilantro in the pot of soup if you like that. Hierbabuena, epazote are also herbs that I like to add if I have it. So I'm going to add a pinch of salt, going right in, and pepper. Don't forget the pepper. I almost forgot it, but I'm going to add it. Okay, so I let this continue cooking and boiling for like 20 minutes. But once the carrots and potato, yeah, that's soft. Yeah, that's cooked through. Once the carrots and potatoes are cooked, the meat, you can tell the rice has cooked, then it's ready to serve. But if you want it to go longer, then let it continue boiling maybe for another 10 minutes. It really is up to you as far as textures, but I think I am going to let it go for like 10 more minutes. I think I'm going to garnish with a little bit of chopped parsley, just right on top. And it's ready to serve. Oh, take the bay leaf out. Okay, and we have our bowl and our delicious broth. And it's time to eat. So good. Okay, I'm ready to eat, and I'm gonna scoop in just this whole avocado into the bowl. Fresh squeezed lime juice going in. Ooh. And let me give you a closer look to the meatball. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this open with a spoon carefully. Oh, it's cooked perfectly. There you go, rice and ground beef. Some people don't like the look of albondigas, meat, you know, the meatballs, but I love it. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.